The National Economic Council Director, Kevin Hassett, he says the economy is strong despite the war.
It's not going to last for months. President Trump's team has briefed us that it's going to be 4 to 6 weeks, beginning 2 weeks ago, and that we're ahead of schedule. And so, second, if it did last for a long time, it wouldn't really do a lot of harm to the U.S. economy. Now, certainly there'd be pocketbook issues that we'd have to address, but the bottom line is that the U.S. produces so much oil that you can't really get GDP to go negative with an oil shock the way you could in the 70s. So we're in a very strong position.
Well, let's see what Jeff Sica has to think. Hassett's not worried. Are you?
No, I mean, that was just such an inspiring segment, that soundbite that he put out there.
Are you being sarcastic?
Yeah, a little bit. No, and Stuart, where you know me, for as long as you know me, I find stuff to worry about all the time. I do happen to agree with Kevin Hassett that this will have an end. I think it's whether that is sooner than people think remains to be seen. This could go on for a while, but I do think that we have made tremendous progress, and the fact that if what's happening in the Strait of Hormuz and the Iran war is a proxy for the stock market, I would say we don't have a lot to worry about. I think we're going to win this. We're going to come out. We're going to defeat Iran. I think we're going to open up the Strait of Hormuz. I think we're going to have a whole new paradigm for oil in the Mideast. But there are other things that the economy, that the markets are going to begin to consider. And those other things have been overshadowed by what's happening in Iran. Ultimately, I think we have other issues, namely the potential, the serious likelihood of a credit crisis that's on the horizon, and the fact that the AI stocks are dealing with the potential of being overvalued. So we have other things to look at.
Well, NVIDIA's got their GPU technology conference. It kicks off today.
Right.
What's that got to do with AI and the future and spending too much on AI?
I think if you're an AI stock investor, or if you're invested in the hyperscalers, the Facebooks, the Microsofts, the Googles, I think this conference is paramount. And the reason why is we have to hear from NVIDIA whether or not these hyperscalers, which 50% of the revenue from NVIDIA comes from the hyperscalers, they're spending trillions of dollars on capital spending. And what we need to hear from NVIDIA is, do they intend to continue to spend that much into 2027, 2028? Or is it going to cut back? And also we need to know about the new technologies. And because, NVIDIA has, I've been recommending this stock since 2018. They have the ultimate designation of being, of all this capital spending funneling directly to them. The valuation is high, and could this be sustainable? And will the hyperscalers who are spending, I mean, you saw with Facebook had to lay off 20% of their workforce because of what they're spending on
20% down, that's extraordinary, because of all the expense.
Right.
All right, Jeff, thanks very much for joining us.
Thank you, Stuart.
See you soon.